This is Alex Smith, member of LANDS, presenting this edition of our weekly updates. Remember to check out our website at jalands.org. That is jalands.org. You can also follow us on Twitter at lands_JA. LANDS_JA. We'll start things off with a Dry Harbour Mountain redux, then discuss recent COVID-19 relief and response measures, and finally conclude with the new National Broadband Initiative. This edition, we're back on Dry Harbour, and with interesting news. On the 17th of December, the Jamaica Observer reported on a Supreme Court claim filed challenging decision to allow quarrying in Dry Harbour Mountain. Defendants in the case are the Attorney General of Jamaica, the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, and Bengal Development Limited. Among the declarations sought in the claim is acknowledgement from the court that the constitutionally guaranteed right to enjoy a healthy and productive environment, free from the threat of injury or damage from environmental abuse and degradation of the ecological heritage, is likely to be breached, abrogated, or infringed should mining be allowed. Such breaches, abrogations, and infringements are real issues. Just 2 days prior, St. Anne 360 covered groups of people in the southwest of the parish, blocking roads used by the bauxite company in protest over dust and noise pollution they claim to be experiencing Sunday to Sunday. This is what's at stake if Bengal Development goes ahead and mines at Dry Harbour Mountain. These developments are encouraging. After all, lands units oppose mining at Dry Harbour on ecological and public health grounds. Also, like with the cockpit country, we have long-term concerns over water quality and resilience in the face of natural disasters. This suit is at the culmination of multifaceted opposition to mismanaged extraction in Jamaica. Local communities in the north and west of the country, just like those in St. Anne, regularly protest ill effects of mining. In solidarity, individuals have virtually rallied around petitions to stop and prevent the mining. In the case of Dry Harbour, there are multiple Change.org petitions, the largest of which has 11,000 signatures. There's also a petition to the Jamaica House, with over 5,300 signatures as of the 18th of December, 2020. If the Jamaica House petition receives at least 15,000 signatures in total by the 27th of December, the Office of the Prime Minister must review its contents. So, if you would like to support the petition by signing, you may do so by visiting the website opm.gov.jm/participate/Jamaica-house-petition. If you include your email address when signing, you will receive an email at that address requesting you confirm that it is indeed your email address. Follow the link in the email to do so. Beyond petitions, organizations in civil society have voiced their own opposition to mining operations at Dry Harbour Mountain. Notably, on the 9th of December, the Jamaica Environment Trust, as reported in our own weekly updates, called the proceedings to approve the mining a sham. However, above all, we must acknowledge that the country has kept the discussion alive at home and on social and traditional media. These tactics are among the many we need to mobilize around issues affecting us. The fact that they're being carried out in such a sustained manner inspires confidence, and not just in Jamaicans' ability to rally for the environment. This kind of attitude, this energy, these kinds of responses are the starting point to building a country where anyone, any community, can take action and can boldly and directly participate in its affairs. Moving on to COVID-19 relief and response. Amid the pandemic, and with the holiday season coming, individuals, organizations, and governments are feeling more charitable. From the 12th of December Gleaner article, 83 Fisherfolk to get COVID-19 relief, we see that the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries is to distribute money to cover the effects of COVID lockdown, pay for cold storage containers, and give startup grants to new fishers. All the support, apart from the CARE program from the Ministry of Finance, signals that the government finds importance in the resilience of the fishing industry. For us at Lands, food sovereignty and security are crucial for national development, so we welcome this new relief package. On the 18th of December, we see from the Observer, Foundation hands over tablets, food, and PPE worth $2.1 million. Schools in Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and the corporate area all benefited from this relief, the benefactor being the Rujan Foundation, based in Florida. Surely the situation at these schools will improve due to this aid. In the medium and long term, there's a need to plan relief which is sovereign and independent. Multiple local governments have tweaked their policies to respond to the changing situation on the ground. From the Gleaner, on the 14th of December, we see St. Anne's Bay Mayor proposes increased COVID-19 community sensitization. The mayor is basically making use of existing community centers and other public spaces to spread the message. Awareness is always good, so we welcome this move. 3 days later, CBMTP covered mass COVID-19 testing for Portmore residents. Now, mass testing is associated with the more fortuitous responses to COVID-19 in the region, from the Eastern Caribbean territories to countries like Nicaragua and Cuba. However, in the same coverage, the local police noted several arrests for violations of COVID-19 restrictions in place due to the Disaster Risk Management Act. So this week, we've seen a mix of government and non-governmental aid to keep people afloat during this public health emergency. We also see that while some local government is proactively building more awareness and doing more testing, both key to treating pandemics, the state still relies on a carceral response. Must this be the extent of our policy? When discussing the merits of arrests for violations of the Disaster Risk Management Act, Lands members and observers came to the conclusion that the effort to detain is better spent attempting to give out necessary supplies like masks and hand sanitizer. In fact, there are internal plans within Lands to go about distributing such supplies with the help of interested and capable parties. Breaking up unlawful festivities and the like is different, but even these must be approached with the understanding that the entertainment industry has been hit by the lockdowns. Looking at other countries, we see that the situation can be different. Nicaragua, a country with just over twice our population and that's about as wealthy, has a different approach. The economy isn't shut down anywhere, and there are no curfews. From the beginning, there was a rapid sensitization and active mobilization of resources from hospitals and communities took place, even in the most remote of communities. It can be said that this policy overall has been effective, because as of time of recording, there are only 5,938 cases in the whole of Nicaragua and 168 deaths. Cuba, our neighbor to the north, with 11 million people, is even better off, relatively speaking. From the first case, there was door-to-door intervention and regular mass testing. This is easy for Cuba, because there are general practitioners in and near every community, even the most remote. On top of that, there is comprehensive distribution of essentials, not just for COVID, but food and supplies for basic daily living. These clearly are effective, because at time of recording, there are 9,398 cases and 137 deaths in Cuba. The curve is flattening there. As it stands right now in Jamaica, there are over 12,000 confirmed cases and 283 deaths from COVID-19. We're also operating with a much less robust public healthcare system than, say, Cuba or Nicaragua, and it's one in which doctors and nurses are encouraged to leave, and depending on where they're employed, wages they earn, and conditions they face are not conducive to proper work. We also can't fully spend our way into emulating Cuba and Nicaragua exactly. Our fiscal situation won't allow us to do that. And since we'd be course correcting now rather than closer to our first case, we won't see all the same benefits. It's always harder to fight an epidemic as it goes on. But what can be done immediately? We can proactively respond at the community level by showing up widespread testing. We need to do so not just for symptomatic patients, but for everyone in the community. And we can't just bring tests in by order of physician. It needs to be comprehensive. After all, most people who spread COVID-19 are asymptomatic. We also need to sensitize people to the new reality so that they're informed at all times and to avoid confusion and panic. Absent an economic overhaul, which can't really happen short term, we need logistical harmonization. So the state, private sector, NGOs, and social organizations, we need to all coordinate to get subsidized and free supplies where they're needed so that people don't need to take heightened risks working or doing commerce. We'll end things on a lighter note with the Ministry of Science and Technology's National Broadband Initiative. On the 16th of December, the nationwide news network published the article, "Initiative to Connect All Jamaican Households to Internet Jumps into Phase 2. The overall goal is for broadband internet to be in every household by 2025. The specifications and action plan are done, so the ministry can focus on allocating funding, overseeing bidding for contracts, and nurturing an investment environment necessary for broadband rollout. Phase 3 will involve increased connectivity and use of the internet in government, and a broadening and deepening of the digital economy afterwards. If effective, the initiative will close gaps in the digital divide, so inequalities in access to hardware and software used to learn, work, play, and do business will be less acute. This is a particularly sensitive issue in a pandemic. In our units, we all understood lack of access to the internet and devices being an obstacle to recovery. We welcome the granting of tablets and the setting up of free Wi-Fi in a few rural communities that has been done already. But work and education from home will be here to stay after COVID is contained or eliminated, so mass connectivity is the way to go. Unfortunately, rather than seeking to build up broadband as a public utility, the government is creating the space for a broadband market. The profit-maximizing private entities that do the heavy lifting of the initiative will do may overdetermine the effort to cover the entire country. Lands has a general policy of essential infrastructure being owned by and the concern of the state, as it should be more accountable to the public at large instead of customers and shareholders. Signing off now, this has been Alex Smith with your weekly update. Thanks for listening.